Hey everyone, this is Michael with my very first pick a card reading here on my YouTube channel, which is actually very appropriate because this reading is here to help us figure out what the next big change or shift or chapter in our life is going to be. I have broken up this reading into 4 groups. You can find the timestamps in the description box down below, as well as links for personal readings or Reiki sessions if you are interested in those. For those of you who are brand new to this channel, hello and welcome. My name is Michael. I am a tarot card reader, clairvoyant, astrologer, energy healer, whole bunch of good stuff. I do have more information in my bio section on my website if you're interested in learning more about me. If you'd like to hit like and subscribe, I would definitely appreciate it, especially as we are beginning this new chapter here on my channel. I've been doing this work for about 2 years now, and I've been doing zodiac readings or tarot card readings for each zodiac sign, and now we are moving into other spiritual content. I'm going to be doing pick-a-card readings, as well as talking about a myriad of metaphysical and spiritual topics. So if that sounds really interesting to you, be sure to hit subscribe. And I am so curious to see what we have in store for all of you, because there's such massive energy shifts happening in the collective right now. I do have, or I'm going to have in just a moment, a screen that will allow you to pick one of the piles. It will be about 30 seconds long. You're welcome to pause that and take more time if you feel you need it. I do also, again, have the timestamps in the description box and the comment section down below. So once you've made your selection, you are welcome to jump ahead. Let's go. This reading is for you if you chose group number 1. The first 2 cards that we pulled from the Moonology Oracle deck is First Quarter Moon and Waxing Moon. Your commitment is being tested and the energy is gaining momentum. So right away, this tells me that some of you have been struggling to get a project off the ground. It does make me wonder if there could also be a relationship as well for some of you that's just been having a rough patch, or maybe there has been a situation with someone or a dynamic with someone that hasn't quite taken off, or there's been a challenge in the connection between you and this other person. I do feel like part of this major change that you are coming into, pile number 1, is that you are going to be gaining momentum. Your commitment has been tested already for quite some time, is what I am getting. I do feel like there is this need for you to par down energetically. I am kind of getting this sense. But you are actually building towards something. It's interesting that you have the waxing moon and then the first quarter moon. The waxing moon representing the first waxing moon in this oracle deck here. I do feel like there is finally some progress that is being had for this group, but it's taken quite some time, and it might have even been something that you have given up on. I am curious to see what we have from the tarot here. 5 of Swords in reverse with the 2 of Cups in reverse. Oh my gosh. So right away, again, your commitment about something is being tested. I'm seeing this with the 2 of Cups here that is in reverse. I do feel like this is referring more to your own commitment towards yourself or a project in your life, to be completely honest. It might feel like in the next month of you watching this reading that you feel like you need to walk away from something, or you feel like you need to give up something. Maybe you do need to give yourself some space here, but to be honest with you, pile number 1, I feel like there is this need to persevere, and it's like once you get going, once you really build up momentum for something here, you will start to have some lift. I just feel like you've been in this really hard period where you have had to persevere, or you've had to hold true to something even if you have not had results or payoff yet. And to be honest, I just want to say too, be discerning with messages about love in YouTube readings, but I do feel like for some of you, there very well could be this romantic situation where you tried walking away from somebody and it just hasn't worked out, or you've tried giving yourself space from somebody and it just has not helped you heal, or it has not helped this other person heal. And this might not even be a romantic connection at all. The Two of Cups really could represent any intimate or soul connection. I think it's really important, if you feel like your relationships are being tested right now, that you are staying true to those connections and kind of remembering what they have brought you in your life in totality, not just recently. Because I do feel like there is something that is going to be shifting in these areas that have felt stagnant, whether this is work, relationships, all of the above. I think a lot of people have just felt this stagnant energy. So these cards are really interesting, and we already have some repeating themes here. Don't give up on something. I feel like you've actually sort of been in this limbo pile one of, I think I should give this up, but I don't know if I should. There's kind of been this back and forth. Let's take a look here and see what else we have. Ooh, the Emperor and the Seven of Coins. So again, this thing with timing, energy, and also planning with the Emperor, I feel like that's really important. I feel like pile number one, it's taken some time to get some of your resources in order, but honestly, I feel like you will be successful if you are working on an independent project, or if there is this career venture that you've been trying to make. And it's going to kind of come after a lot of hard work. And for this group, I'm already feeling that for most of you, you've put in a lot of effort already. Or if you're asking about something that's just beginning, it might be a bit slow to start, to be completely honest with you. But it's almost like your commitment or love or passion of something is being tested. And that's going to help you moving forward really figure out what it is that you want to do, or if something is actually worth your time and energy here with the Seven of Coins. There may be a period of reevaluation that you are going through right now. And I suppose it's possible for some of you, you may be letting go of things that are no longer serving you. But to be honest, there is just this overwhelming sense of perseverance and continuing to move forward. There may have been a relationship that didn't work out well for you. And honestly, I feel like for this group, or at least the vast majority of you in this situation, you are needing to focus on yourself more. You do need to invest more time and energy in yourself right now. That is what the universe is asking from you. I want to pull a couple more cards, or flip more of these cards over here. Yeah, so we have Fish and Beaver. Again, Beaver is all about long-term commitment. You are building something for yourself in the long term. And you do have Fish, which is all about going with the flow. This actually is giving me a very specific visual of this dam that is being built in a river, and you as this fish have been trying to swim along this river, but you keep getting blocked off. I do feel like there is a need to commit, though. There is this need to persevere, but you might need to change your course. You might need to change the way that you are approaching this situation. I am getting this sense, pile number one, that you do need to be more intentional with the way that you're spending your time as well. You might have been going with the flow, or have been a bit too passive here with this fish energy. Excuse me. I do feel like with this beaver energy, you do benefit more from grounding yourself, or it would be very beneficial for you to connect to the earth element, to connect to the physical, to really tie in your emotions to physical actions, or your dreams or aspirations into specific plans or courses of action that you can take in a very practical way. Especially with this Emperor here, there is something about needing to invest in the long term with the Seven of Coins. You may have had to walk away from other long-term commitments, and you might be wondering, was this worth it? Was this worth the effort? Was this worth the risk that I took? I actually do feel like the answer is yes for the vast majority of you. You're simply in this phase right now where you're being asked to trust, and you really need to open up to the universe and continue to follow this inspiration, or continue to follow this flow, even if it feels like there is a dam, even if it feels like there is something that is being blocked off. I have one more card for you here, which is the Elder card, and this is with the message Ritual. Elderberries are actually really interesting, or elder branches in particular, because they are steeped in mythology. I feel like, again, with the word ritual, I am thinking of the way that you are spending your time, the way you are structuring your day. And this just goes back to the message I was telling you before pile number one. I feel like it's very, very important for you to be very intentional with the way that you're spending your time. It's almost like you've been in this fish energy or this Piscean energy of expecting things to always flow, and if something doesn't flow, then it might not be meant for you. And there may have been a phase in your life where you needed to do that, because I do feel like for some of you, you had to walk away from a work situation or relationship in the past year or so that was very hard for you to do, and now you're kind of being asked to reinvest your energy into something else. I'm getting a very strong sense for this pile, or for this group, this message: if you only invested half the energy that you give to other people into yourself, you would have built, or will build, something so incredible. But it's really important that you are focusing on yourself, focusing on your journey. And your commitment is being tested right now. It's going to be, I think, for the next month in particular. I did post this at the end of May into June 2021. We do have Mercury retrograde in Gemini right now. There are some tests. We have Saturn retrograde right now. We are between two eclipses. There is a lot of energy that is still shifting. So even though there are these massive shifts, and it feels like you've been working forever or trying to push through forever, I think you still need to trust in this path that you're in. Even if there is this blockage right now, I do feel like ultimately you will overcome it, and you will only be stronger and greater for doing so. Let me see if there's anything else here for you. I'm going to actually shuffle for one more card here. And I'm going to shuffle from the Starseed Oracle. Is there any more wisdom and guidance that we can get for Group 1 at this time? I'm just feeling like the big shift here for you is, after all of this time and energy, things are about to pay off. So I'm going to tell you to not give up on anything just yet. Group 1, I think it's really important for you to keep persevering. Sorry, just had a bunch of cards here fall out. Let's try that again. And you might need to do this in a way that's more sustainable to you. But I think you're actually on the right track in your life. You just need to keep going. I do feel like for some of you, there actually could be a relationship as well, something that is long-term. You're not settling for, just any person anymore. And because of that, that's going to take some more time, but you know what it is that you want out of relationships. For those of you who are kind of wondering about love, or your prospects for love or long-term connection, if you are in a relationship with someone, I do feel like you've been in a rough patch for some time, and I actually feel like you are able to mend, and you're even able to move forward and build something more stable in the long term. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we had a bunch of cards jump out here again. Let me see here. Yeah, it just feels like, again, this sort of blockage that I'm picking up on. Here we go. Fall into my arms, surrender, holding the opposites, extremes of life. So what this message is again telling me is that you do need to really hold space for this uncertainty right now. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, surrendering to the universe with this fish energy and surrendering to the timing of things, that might be a component here that is just out of your control. Something that you have wanted to happen just hasn't occurred because it hasn't been the divine timing. But you are coming into this window very soon. There is something that is going to be given to you And for those of you who have been pushing very, very hard, and you're hearing me say you just need to persevere a little longer, or you need to push through a little harder, and that just feels overwhelming, you might actually need to just surrender for a moment and almost let go of this thing that you're working on. Because when you open yourself up energetically like that, you can feel the shift in your body. You can feel things opening up, and your body is going to be telling you about what the energy flow in your life is like. So having this surrender, fall into my arms, surrender, holding the opposites extremes of life, it is really trusting in the universe and allowing things to flow in the right timing. Some of you have been trying to force something to happen that just hasn't been quite ripe yet. And that could be why you're struggling. Do I go forward? Do I walk away? It's almost like staying in that ambiguous state in a strange way. That's what you've needed to do. And again, the message, fall into my arms. I do feel like there could be a love connection for some of you who have been really waiting for, a new relationship and wanting to build a life with someone in particular. I'm thinking things like buying a house, having children, settling down. That's what I get with the beaver energy, and even with the emperor energy here as well. And ritual, the elder card actually does speak of marriage. Elder branches are used in certain marriage ceremonies, or they were traditionally. So there very well could be a long-term relationship. I actually feel like some of you might already be in a marriage, and that's been part of this struggle, part of this challenge. And it's like you've not wanted to fight, but you've not wanted to be vulnerable at the same time. And I think you need to come in very open and have a very real conversation. Some of you have been afraid to do that with somebody in your life, whether you are married or not. And it's like you're afraid of having this conversation and losing somebody. But I actually feel like, Group 1, if you have this conversation, it's only going to build strong foundations for you. Or at the very least, it's going to clear out the blockages that are preventing you from having relationships with people who do want to build solid foundations and relationships with you. And that is everything I am getting right now, Pile 1. I do hope that this was helpful. Hang in there, keep going. I do have links in the description box if you're interested in a personal reading or Reiki session. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you want more pick-a-card readings or are interested in following me for other metaphysical or spiritual topics. And I will see you all in the next reading. Take care. This reading is for you if you chose pile number 2. So the first 2 cards we have from the Moonology Oracle deck is New Moon in Gemini. Communication is key. And you and your loved ones are safe. New Moon in Cancer. So this is actually interesting because right away the first thing that stands out to me is you have the New Moon in Gemini and the New Moon in Cancer. I am posting this at the end of May 2021, and we are going into the month of June. And we just had a full moon eclipse in the sign of Sagittarius, and we're going to have a solar eclipse with the new moon in Gemini on June 10th. And after that, the next new moon will be in Cancer. So this is actually telling me that there is something shifting between the eclipse and the next new moon that we will have in July. So this is a very interesting message already. You do have this message of communication is key and you and your loved ones are safe. There's actually a couple of things that are coming to mind. For some of you, you could actually be uncovering some knowledge or having some information coming in. I'm getting this intuitive message that you are learning something either about your family of origin or something with very close people you consider to be your family that is going to kind of rattle you at your foundation. I don't mean to sound, I don't mean to make that sound scary, but there is something really big that is going to be shifting there for you. And, you know, this message, you and your loved ones are safe. It makes me wonder if there is this concern for somebody's safety or if there has been this concern for somebody's safety. Obviously, there has been a lot of worry over the past year, so that could very well have something to do with everything that we've been going through with the pandemic. But I do feel like whatever it is that you have been worried about, there is actually this lifting of worry, but you have to talk to somebody about it. You have to air something out, or somebody needs to air something out for to you. Somebody needs to air somebody out for their own well-being. I do feel like with this new moon in Cancer, this is a very specific message, but I do feel for some of you, you could also be conceiving, if that is something that you've been trying to do, or bring a child into this world, or raise a child, whether that's through conception, adoption, what have you. I do feel like there could be a message soon about a child, or someone is telling you that they are having a child, and it's very exciting for you. So that's a very interesting message. I'm curious to see what the other cards have to say here. So we have the Well and the Sun both in reverse. Yeah, if something hasn't been clear to you, I feel like there does need to be a communication. There does need to be a conversation, I should say, in a situation. I do feel like, though, even though the Sun is showing up in reverse here, I feel like there is going to be this revelation. And it feels like if something has been stagnant for you creatively, the new moon in Cancer in particular is going to bring in a lot of creative energy. This isn't just talking about literal children. This could also be talking about ideas or new beginnings. So for those of you who aren't trying to conceive of a child, you might be conceiving of an idea or of a plan that ends up being fruitful for you. But there's still something where there is communication that needs to happen. Things still need to be talked out. And it's interesting with the Well in reverse, because this also speaks of sacrifice. And it's like, honestly, for this group, I am feeling like you've been in this really heavy time. I'm actually getting a message for some of you. There may be someone who has crossed over who is actually telling you that they are okay. I'm only getting that because you have the Sun in reverse, the Well in reverse, communication, and the new moon in Cancer. You and your loved ones are safe. I am actually getting the sense that for some of you, you are being contacted by a deceased loved one, whether that's a friend or family member, and they're telling you that they're okay and that they're watching over you. And they may actually be trying to communicate with you, but you haven't been able to receive the message with the Sun in reverse and the Well in reverse. Or maybe you've been too afraid to reach out for that connection. And I know this sounds very specific, but I do feel that this is the message for some of you. I'm getting tingles on the back of my neck as I'm describing this energy, and that's kind of my intuition's way of letting me know this is a message that some of you need to hear. It's almost like it's coming through my throat. And to you. So I'm hoping that the people who need to hear this message are hearing it. Your loved ones who have crossed over are reaching out to you right now, especially if you are going through a situation with family or home. Some of you might actually be manifesting a new home as well. I could actually see that for some of you. And again, I am feeling, even though these cards, it's speaking a lot about feeling depleted with the Sun in reverse and the Well in reverse. It's like the well is empty, the sun is dark. Interesting with the eclipse energy, actually, that came to my mind. Things might not feel clear right away, or you might just feel too drained to see things clearly right now. But I feel like you're coming out of this energy. That is the big shift. There's all of these new beginnings with the new moon in Gemini and the new moon in Cancer. I do want us to take a look from the Star Weaver Tarot at what you have. Interesting. We have the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands. Wow. Okay, so for those of you who have been manifesting a new beginning, again, two new energies. Right as I was talking about these new moon cards being new beginnings, you have the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands. Again, this new idea or this new passion, this creative spark, there's something that is coming to you, the spark of creation. And it feels really, really positive. I'm actually really, really excited for this group because it feels like, to be honest, when I was tuning into your energy before I even flipped over your cards, it did feel heavier. And I felt like you've been going through a hard time. I do feel like, again, communication is really important with the Ace of Swords. It does make me feel like you do need to talk to somebody or air something out with somebody. But ultimately, that is going to be very illuminating. It's going to help you have greater understanding with something here. I love these two aces together because it tells me that something is happening very quickly, because it's swords and wands, which are the two fastest elements of the suits in tarot. It's not the Ace of Cups or the Ace of Coins, where things can happen very slowly, even though the Ace of Coins can be very stable and the Ace of Cups can be very nurturing. I'm feeling like what's actually happening is that you're getting this spark for life again. And it feels like you haven't been able to have that level of freedom or have that level of levity in your life for quite some time. So I do want to pull some animal wisdom here for you as well. And I do have a botanical oracle card, which I will flip over in just a moment. We have the shark and we do have the bat. Interesting. So when I think of bat, it does actually make me think of messages from the other side and intuitive messages, clairaudience in particular. You might be hearing messages, you might be hearing ringing in your ears, you might have songs popping into your head. All of these can be ways that we access our intuition, the channel known as clairaudience, which bat is a great metaphor for because bat has that echolocation. It quite literally has a sixth sense. And things might not be, you might not be able to see things super clearly with the Sun card in reverse, or you might not have been able to see them, but you do see signs of something with the Shark card as well, kind of that fin above the water, something circling around you. And with the Bat card, with this echolocation, you've been feeling out the energy for quite some time. Something is changing. There is this new beginning that is happening for me. And it feels like there is this creative project for you, or this rekindling. It just feels like a new life is beginning. And I think there has been a lot of letting go. And honestly, I'm getting grief again. There's just been this really heavy energy around this pile. And I just want to say too, if you are worried about your loved ones, if you are feeling anxious about someone's health or about someone's finances or mental health, ooh, I'm getting a loud ring in my ear as I say this, your spirit guides, your family members, they are protecting this person. They are watching over the situation very, very closely, and they want you to know that. I do want to flip over this botanical card, Hawthorn, which is sacred, which is so interesting because Hawthorn, it is a plant of connecting to other worlds and other realms. It is a very sacred and magical plant. I know it's also connected to Beltane, which is interestingly in the month of May. So this new moon in Gemini sometimes happens in May. It feels like this is very time sensitive, like there has been something that has been going on around the time that this reading has been posted, or there's going to be something significant around summertime whenever you are watching this reading, with the new moon in Gemini and the new moon in Cancer, and it could even be around Beltane, which is traditionally May 1st. Oh my gosh, when else would it be? November 1st if you're in the southern hemisphere. But Beltane really represents the halfway point between spring and summer, and it's the portal of life. Oh my gosh, this is so interesting. I am actually getting a very strong message right now. Some of you are going to be hearing news about a baby, or hearing that you might be pregnant, or someone very close to you might be pregnant, and I'm actually getting the sense, and again, I'm hearing this ringing, so this is for some of you out there. This is actually a reincarnated family member, or a spirit guide taking a physical form. I'm getting chills just talking about this, but this is very, very exciting. Beltane is this portal of life, and with the sacred card, it is telling me that there is this sacred portal that is opening up right now. And I'm just so, so excited. There is this new life. And if those of you who have been having a hard time conceiving with the Sun card and the Well card in reverse, whether that's literally a baby or just finding this creative energy or this passionate energy or even a relationship or whatever it is you're trying to create, I do feel like you are going to get this zest and spark for life again. It is important that you trust in your intuition, and I'm going to be honest, you need to pay attention to the red flags. I feel like if there are troublesome situations or people in your life, your spirit team, your spirit guides, your ancestors, your loved ones, they are trying to alert you, and you may not be paying attention, but honestly, I feel like they're gonna keep reaching out to you until the message is received. If you feel like your intuition has been trying to tell you something, I would really take some time to do some sort of ritual here with the Hawthorn card, with the Sacred card, and also reconnecting to what is sacred to you. I think that would give you a lot of energy for your own life and for your own creations. But this is just such an interesting reading. And again, I do feel like with this new moon in Cancer is the most intuitive placement for the moon, or one of the most intuitive placements, because Cancer naturally is ruled over by the moon. And so these two energies play together very nicely. I would actually encourage those of you who want to develop your intuition more to do some sort of ritual on this new moon in Cancer, which will be, I believe, in July. And even with this Gemini energy here, if you're trying to develop your clairaudience to receive messages from spirit or receive messages from your guides or departed loved ones, or just to hear these energetic tones that I keep hearing in your reading, this is a really good time window for you to access these abilities. And Shark is actually interesting too, because Shark also quite literally possesses a sixth sense. It possesses the sense of electroreceptivity, and it's literally able to sense electrical currents in its environment, and it's almost like you are able to sense that energy yourself right now. Again, you're very, very intuitive. I actually feel like for some of you, you might have closed off to your intuition, or you just have felt intuitively dull. The big shift that is happening for you is that you're reactivating your intuition, or it's coming back even stronger than it was before. And it might feel a little overwhelming at first, but I actually think that this is something that would be very powerful for you to work with. And it's going to create a lot of positive changes. It's literally going to bring a new way of being or a new life for you, which is so, so exciting. And again, with this Shark, it's like if you're trying to create a business, this tells me that you're kind of like a business shark. You're able to feel out the energy. You know a good opportunity when you see it. If you have this idea, don't doubt it. This is divinely inspired, and it is coming to you at the right time, especially if it is happening around this lunar cycle here that I was talking about. Take this as your confirmation. Trust your intuition. Shark will circle around its prey before it kind of goes in for the kill. And I feel like for those of you who have been kind of circling a situation, trying to get a read, you're very soon going to feel that it is time to go in and take a course of action. And this is divinely inspired, and it is okay and safe for you to trust in your intuition. There is this message of safety before. Those are all the messages I am getting for this pile. I do hope that this was helpful and exciting for all of you. I got chills throughout some of this. You have to let me know in the comment section down below how this resonated for you, in what ways. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. If you would like to book a personal reading or Reiki session with me, I do have all of my information in the description box down below, and I will see you next time. Take care. This reading is for you if you chose pile number 3. So the first cards here from the Moonology Oracle deck, we have the full moon in Scorpio, it's time to release negativity, and the new moon in Aquarius, bring love into the situation. So these two cards are actually very interesting together, because I feel like with this full moon in Scorpio releasing this negativity, a lot of you have been going through a dark night of the soul. And with this new moon in Aquarius, it's like there is this new beginning. There is this era of stepping back into the light. I feel like I'm getting a sense of the spiritual journey where for a lot of you, you were in this situation where you were on a spiritual journey that felt very positive, and then things kind of dipped down and it became very hard and you had to do a lot of soul searching. But now there is this ascension that you are coming back to. And both of these energies, Scorpio energy and Aquarius energy, it is about releasing and detachment. I'm going to be honest, even though, you know, the new moon in Aquarius, it says bring love into the situation. When we're talking about the Aquarian love, it's not really romantic love. It's your love of humanity. But I do still feel for a lot of you, there is this message of letting go of an old relationship or old connection, whether that's an ex or someone you cared for very deeply. There may have been resentment for the way that this situation unfolded, or what did not occur or did not happen. And to be honest, I feel like you're kind of stepping into this chapter right now where you're finally letting this go. I'm actually feeling for a lot of you, this is a relationship or something that ended a long time ago. I don't feel like this was recent. I don't feel like this is going to happen to you soon. For the group I am connecting with, this actually feels like an ending that has already occurred. And it's only like just now or soon you're going to be realizing, oh, I still have resentment from that situation, or I still live in this guarded state. I still feel very strongly about something. And it's almost like by acknowledging that that wound is still there, you allow yourself to open up to healing with this new moon in Aquarius. And again, it doesn't feel like this is a situation that is, that's like a fresh ending. It feels like something has ended a while ago. And it might not even be a relationship. It might just be a situation where you feel like you've gotten screwed over. And I'm going to be honest, this might sound a little backhanded, but it's like you have to forgive. Your forgiveness is what is going to set you free. It has nothing to do with what this person will or won't do that is going to determine your peace and well-being. And I know that sounds a little cliche, but I actually think that is going to be part of this major shift that you are experiencing. Pile number 3. So I'm curious to see what other cards we have for you. We have the King of Swords in reverse. Yeah, so I do feel like you've had to cut somebody out. The Knight of Wands, someone who might have been, to be honest, when I think of the Knight of Wands, it does make me think of kind of a promiscuous or sexual energy. And, you know, it could be with a fire sign, Aries, Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo. Could also be air sign, so it could also be Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. We do have the Aquarius energy here with the new moon in Aquarius. But regardless of the zodiac signs, regardless of any of that specific in the situation, I do feel like it's very important for you to be discerning with this full moon in Scorpio. You know what energy works well for you, and it's not even about waiting for that person to get their revenge or for that person to get their karma. It's not about getting revenge on anybody. I feel like some of you have been holding out in a situation, and it's like you're finally realizing that loving someone means setting someone free, even if that person was someone that you cared for very deeply, even if this is someone who might have hurt you with their impulsivity. I do apologize if this is picking up on sounds. I am hearing some things in the background, so please excuse that. But I feel like you are needing to let go of the past. And you're doing this. You're getting less emotional about a situation that was very challenging or very emotionally charged. And emotions may have very well run high with the Knight of Wands, and there may have been some really hurtful or harmful words. with the King of Swords here in reverse. We have the Sun and the Knight of Cups. So what's really nice about this situation, if you're resonating with this and it's felt heavy so far, there is actually new beginnings here. There is new hope after this dark night of the soul. I knew I felt it. I knew I felt this return to the light. I wasn't just imagining it here. This is confirmation to me. This group is really coming into an era where things are going to feel a lot lighter and a lot brighter. You're going to have more passion again as this Knight of Wands. But you also have this Knight of Cups, which is following your dreams, following your intuition. Very well could be talking about a new romantic interest coming into your life. I'm going to be honest, I do feel like from this group as well, there is kind of this message of, it's not too late. I don't know why I'm getting that. You haven't missed your chance. If you feel like you've been single forever, or you haven't been able to get your life together or create the life that you think you should have at this point, I think you need to let go of this negativity, this negative story, because you are about to come into this new Aquarian energy here. And it's a lot lighter, and it's a lot brighter and more hopeful for the future in general. You are looking forward to things with the Sun. You are seeing things clearer, finally. And I'm going to be honest, for some of you with the full moon in Scorpio, your pain and negativity has actually prevented you from making changes in your life because you've adopted these belief systems that at one point kept you safe and kept you guarded, but they're now keeping you imprisoned. And that's what you're being asked to surrender, because there is this light that is trying to shine into your world. There is this Knight of Cups who is trying to come in and encourage you to follow your dreams and to be passionate again, and even a bit foolish at times. I know that sounds kind of strange for a tarot reading, but it's like, I feel like for some of you, you've been so guarded off from your heart because you didn't want to feel old heartache, old wounds. But the moment you release those by feeling them, there is new energy that flows into your life, and it brings the birth of something new. Let's pull some animal oracle cards here. Sea Serpent, which is all about emotional healing, and Firefly. Yes, there is this beautiful healing light with Firefly. I'll get to this in a moment. But with the Sea Serpent card, we are actually talking about healing the second chakra, or the sacral chakra, Svadhisthana, which translates as in her own abode. It's being at home inside yourself. And the sacral chakra, the second chakra, this is actually our pleasure chakra, but it's also our emotions, our intimacy. And I actually argue that this chakra is more important to our intimate relationships, to our romantic relationships, because it governs our ability to be emotional and to be vulnerable with other people. And this is a center that is healing. There's a lot of emotional healing that is happening. And you've had to ride out this really intense wave that has felt a bit like a tsunami, or maybe you felt lost at sea. I'm actually hearing that message a lot too. Some of you may have even been saying that. I'm just lost at sea, or I'm on a lifeboat, or something like that, waiting for someone to find you, waiting for something to change. I do feel like there is this shift that is occurring. And with this Firefly card, it is also this very hopeful message, and it might feel like the hope kind of comes and goes, to be honest with you, but you need to keep following direction of this hope. Fireflies actually light up for the purpose of attracting mates or communicating with one another. So as you're lighting up here, you might actually be a beacon to the people you are meant to share your life with, whether that is romantic or a friendship or even some form of kinship on like a familial or soul level. But this is very, very beautiful. I'm actually loving the progression here. I'm loving the healing that I am seeing for this group. It feels very, very positive. and I feel a lot of hope here with the Firefly. I do think it is important here, because we have Firefly and the Knight of Wands, that you act on your passion. If you have these waves of inspiration or motivation to do something, I really want to encourage you to follow through with them immediately. Don't wait for a better opportunity. Don't wait for a good time to do something. If you have the inspiration or drive to do something, do it in that moment, because it does tell me with all this fire and water, your energy can run very deep, and it can also run very hot, and you might find that you feel extinguished or depleted a lot, and that you need to replenish a lot. That is kind of a message that's coming forward. But I do feel like with Firefly, it's like something is happening and something is happening soon, but you do need to follow your intuition here. And what is the last card we have from the Botanical Oracle? We have Trout Lily, which is the message of patience. You've been going through something or waiting for something for a very, very long time. And I do feel like you are actually about to reach a goal here, or you are about to achieve something or meet someone that is in line with what you have wanted the whole time. And you've had to let go of certain negative beliefs in order to get here. I was picking up on this message before too. I was feeling like some of you feel like you've run out of time. Trout Lily is the message of patience, because these flowers can take anywhere from 4 to 7 years before they finally bloom. And if I'm not mistaken, there's also colonies of these flowers that are hundreds and hundreds of years old. So even though they're kind of slow starters, they do create a real and lasting legacy. So don't feel like you've just gotten to a point in your life where it's like you can't achieve the things you want to achieve. You are, you are still a work in progress. You are still growing. If you feel like things have just are stagnant or have just become stuck, or you are not going to progress any further, this is one of these negative beliefs that you need to release, because the truth with Scorpio energy is that we are always in a state of transformation. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how stuck you feel. There is this transformation that you are undergoing constantly. Even if that's just internal, even if that doesn't reflect in your external environment. But honestly, for this group, I feel like something is finally changing, and it's taken quite a bit of time. I feel bad for this group in a way, because I feel like you've had a hard life, you've had a hard childhood as well, and you're finally healing some of this energy too. I know that's kind of a specific message for some of you, but and even me saying that, it's almost like you don't want me to acknowledge that. You don't want me to see you in that way. You don't want me to be like, oh, poor you. You're not that sort of person. I'm not getting that vibe at all. But I do feel like it's taken you longer because you've had to heal on a deeper level. But now you're able to share this water, share this healing with other people with this Aquarian energy, and you're finally, getting your cup filled. It's interesting that this new moon in Aquarius card, we have this woman pouring this water, and it falls right under this Knight of Cups who is having his cup filled. You are getting this sense of purpose as well, this spiritual purpose. This isn't just about relationships. In fact, I would actually say that this is about your spiritual journey entirely. And you've had to kind of go it alone for a while, or you've been going it alone for a while. And I feel like you're finally connecting to others again, or you're connecting to others for the very first time in your life. And don't feel like your life has been wasted or ruined or squandered, or that you've missed your chance or opportunity. You may, have to follow your inspiration and drive, but keep following that light, even if it flickers on and off, even if it's just for a moment. See where that takes you. Follow your intuition. Follow this divine spark that is guiding you here with this Firefly energy. I really feel strongly for this group that it's only the beginning for you. There's something very new. Those are all the messages I am getting for you. I do hope that this reading was helpful. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below what resonated for you in this reading. I'd be very curious to hear. I do have all of my links in the description box if you're looking for personal readings or Reiki sessions, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care. This reading is for you if you chose group number 4. So let's see what we have for you, group 4. The first 2 cards, we have New Moon in Taurus, Prosperity Lies Ahead, and Waxing Crescent Moon, Have Faith in Your Dreams. So right away, what's kind of popping into my mind with these 2 cards, Prosperity Lies Ahead and Have Faith in Your Dreams. If there is a dream job that has been in your scope, or a new project that you've been wanting to invest in or step forward in, you're definitely being encouraged to have faith in this dream. It will bring you prosperity and abundance if that is something that has been a question for you. I really do feel like you're entering into a new period of wealth, both financial and spiritual or emotional. And this is really going to be a powerful time for you to set the intention for something that is long-lasting as well. This isn't just talking about temporary stability or going through a new chapter in your life. It feels like you are planting seeds for something that will grow and germinate and give you abundance and stability for a very, very long time. So this is really, really exciting. I am so curious to hear what sorts of dreams you have here. I am feeling like there is something creative for a lot of you. That is something that I'm getting, and starting your own business or working for yourself. That's kind of coming forward too. We may get more clarity as we are pulling cards here. We do have the Strength card in reverse and the Tower in reverse. So this is interesting. What I'm actually getting here is, for a long time, a lot of you may have struggled with this sense of stability. Or you may have really tried to create something for your life that was kind of more traditional, or more of the safe route. I say that with quotations, safe route. But something did not end up serving you there. Or you just realize that it's not working for you anymore. I feel like there was this fear that was holding you back, that if you followed your dreams, it might not be sustainable for you in the long run. But honestly, group 4, I'm feeling like this is the big shift that is changing for you. Now is the time to start moving forward towards the things that inspire you, towards the things that feel like they can sustain you in the long term. I keep going back to this word sustain, and that feels like a very strong theme for this group. This could also be talking about relationships for some of you. Maybe you're in relationships that just aren't sustainable in the long term. There might have actually have been a falling out with somebody, or maybe you're holding on to a relationship with this Tower in reverse that you know isn't good for you. You could also be holding on to a false sense of security that isn't going to be something that you can maintain for much longer anyways. And I feel like the universe is trying to push you into a direction that actually feels better. If you feel like everything is kind of falling apart right now, there is this sort of message that there is something new here, or something better on the way, and it feels very, very positive. Let's see what else we have. We do have the Knight of Coins and the Hermit card. Interesting. A lot of Virgo energy actually with these 2 cards, because the Hermit represents Virgo energy as well as the Knight of Coins. Could just be Earth energy in general. We do have the Taurus new moon, so very well could be Taurus energy or even Capricorn energy if those are one of your signs, or maybe that's someone you are working with. But honestly, what I'm actually seeing here, it does feel like there is this need to go within and figure out what it is that inspires you, looking into this lantern here, finding that inner light and letting that be your guiding force in your life. Because I think there is something that is workable here as this Knight of Coins. You've worked very hard to maintain something that did not work. And honestly, I feel like if you just put this energy towards the things that you actually care about with this Knight of Coins, you could really create something that you actually love and that actually gives back to you. Again, having faith in your dreams, this waxing crescent moon, some of you have already begun this process as well, because right after the new moon comes the waxing crescent moon, so you might already be in this new cycle. I am recording this reading at the end of May to the beginning of June 2021. We did have the Taurus new moon in April, if I'm not mistaken, and so some of you may have started something around the month of April, or there was this big shift for you in April. I do feel like for some of you too, the Hermit actually represents someone you are going to for advice or counsel. And this is someone who has kind of strategies or skill sets that could be helpful in whatever it is that you're trying to build in the long term. And I will be honest, I do feel like this is going to be a bit of a process, but you are beginning something new that is going to end up becoming very, very big, or very much a part of a legacy, a larger legacy, which is really, really exciting. And with this Hermit energy, this person who could potentially be helping you out, it could be an earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, it certainly doesn't have to be, but this is someone who really has kind of their stuff together, to be honest with you. This could be someone who is a business person or works with people in starting businesses. This could also just be a figure who, you look up to. And if this isn't talking about a business venture, this could just be a spiritual person or a spiritual figure, someone you look up to, who is inspiring you to move towards your dreams and to trust that the prosperity will flow for you. This is a really beautiful message, because it's like, as long as you're following this passion, as long as you're following your dreams, the abundance will flow. So if there's been something that's been kind of on your radar for a while, now is the time to start beginning or taking steps towards this. And you may feel like you haven't had the energy to do it with the Tower in reverse and the Strength card in reverse. You might have felt very depleted, but I actually feel like part of this shift is that you are coming out of this energy, you're coming out of this tower or this collapse, and you're rebuilding. You've had to take some time away for yourself. You've had to, withdraw and reflect. And really, what was 2020 if it wasn't a year of reflection for many, many people? And during this time, I feel like there was a lot of you strategizing, what do I actually want out of my life? What is the next chapter for my life? I think you already know the answer, and you just need the encouragement to move forward. Again, I am getting something creative, but honestly, this does feel like very much something you are pursuing for yourself as this Knight of Coins. I feel like you've been burned by other people with the Tower in reverse and the Strength card in reverse, and now you're creating something for yourself, and it almost feels like you're creating from the ground up. And again, some of you may have already started this venture, but I feel like you're supposed to keep going. It feels very, very powerful. Let's also take a look at the animal wisdom for you now. We have frog, interesting, and we have the dolphin. Okay, so yeah, this actually very well could be a creative project with the dolphin energy. I just want to say that because dolphin is often associated with the arts. Could also be the intuitive arts, so some of you are intuitives or healers, and you are providing those gifts to the world. I know when the dolphin card shows up, it's very easy for people who resonate with this light and beautiful energy to underestimate what they can give humanity or what they give to the world or the collective at large. And it is really about trusting your intuition and trusting your dreams, trusting in this echolocation that dolphins have. That is what gives them their sense of orientation. I do feel like with the strong emotions you've had in the past, your radar may have felt a little skewed. You may have been doubting yourself quite a bit, but you've gone through a transformation here with this frog. I am going to be honest, and I feel like a lot of you have also had to walk away from relationships. There's been a lot of isolation in that respect as well. And you've had to go through this transformation into a frog by yourself. The funny thing is with the frog, and even with the hermit energy, even though you've gone through this transformation, it's like you can always go back. You can always go back to the pond. You can always go back to the place you came from. In fact, that might even be essential for you. And you're going back to show the people who are still in the pond, who are still tadpoles, what they are capable of, that they are meant to transform. But you've had to go through this really, intense or internal transformation process. And I do feel like there's this sigh of relief here with the frog. I'm seeing this rain here, and it's like you're feeling this healing energy. There is so much stability, and there is so much healing water here with the frog and the dolphin. I do also want to tell some of you very specific message, but you are starting to improve your diet as well, and that is helping you feel better. That is helping you have better energy levels and move through life with greater clarity and lightness. I feel like that's very important for some of you to hear as well. Whatever it is that you're doing, I want you to keep that up, because you are kind of having this glow up here. You are stepping into yourself more by taking better care of yourself and taking care of your health. But honestly, this transformation you've gone through, I think it is about time that you are going to be taking steps now into this new life or into this new way of being, and you're going to start seeing signs of the inner work that you've done, or signs of these shifts that you've been making within yourself. They're going to be reflecting in your external reality. So let's take a look at the Botanical Oracle card. We do have plantain, which is interesting because, again, this is a card of sustaining yourself. Plantain is one of the most widely abundant edible plants, at least wild plants in the world. You can find this plant in many, many places. And I know it has a wide variety of medicinal properties as well, if I'm not mistaken. Things like snake bite, upset stomach, a myriad of different things. So there's a lot of different uses with this plant energy, this sort of medicine, if you will. And with this nourish energy, it's sustaining things, doing things that nourish you. And the way you're going to be making money, or the way you're going to be working, is going to be more sustainable to you in the long run. It's going to be rejuvenating to you with this dolphin energy. If you do have this business idea, whether it's creative or spiritual, I feel like it's a very solid time for you to start moving towards that. And again, it could just be the beginning phases right now, but with this new moon in Taurus energy, it almost feels like an Ace of Pentacles, which is this slow, gradual building, or rising up, this new beginning that is going to be slow and steady progress, but it's going to lead you to a lot of stability. And this feels really good because I can tell that in the past, the vast majority of you have had a lot of instability with the Tower card here in reverse. And even the Strength card in reverse. You tried making a situation work for you that just wasn't working, whether that was your 9 to 5, could also be a relationship too. It's almost like there's plenty of fish in the sea. That's kind of the message I get with the plantain card. But it's also finding relationships that are nourishing to you as well. Because the truth is, when we increase our vibration or energy or attitude in one area of our life, it is very likely that that is going to spill over into all the other areas in our life. And it's always interesting to me when people watch my videos. Some people will call them spiritual readings. Some people will call them love readings. I like to kind of tie in all of these different areas together for that reason. If you're changing one area of your life, it is more than likely that it's going to affect all other areas of your life, or at least multiple areas of your life. And I feel like there's this whole new level of stability that you are stepping into, Group 4, that is going to be affecting not one area of your life, but many areas. And you're going to be having so much abundance and success and stability, and it feels very good. And emotionally, you just have this flow with it as well. It's not like you're working your ass off. It's not like you're selling your soul to get this beautiful lifestyle for yourself. No, you're meant to create something very beautiful, and you actually become this hermit figure, this person that other people look up to because you have done something that they haven't been able to do. You're able to create a business or a model of working for yourself, or sustaining yourself in some way that other people want to do, but they don't have modeled to them. You're almost laying the foundation for other people as well, is the message that I am getting. And I was getting that with the frog energy too, leaving the pond and returning, but you've come back transformed. So really, really powerful. And even with the Tower card in reverse too, I would argue that very often this is a spiritual shift. And, part of this intuition with this dolphin may have just been, you need to do something different. Your life is meant to be different than the way it has been here, where there's all of this struggle and all of this hardship. You're finally letting it go, and you're creating this massive shift for yourself, and it's just absolutely beautiful. You have to let me know in the comment section down below what it is that you are finally building for yourself, group 4. I'm so curious to hear, and definitely support each other in the comments as well. Support each other's visions, inspire one another. I think that's a beautiful way to step into this energy now. If you liked this, be sure to hit like and subscribe. I do hope that this was helpful for all of you. I do have all of my links in the description box down below if you are looking for a personal reading or Reiki session. I do have my online scheduler. My schedule has been filling up a bit quicker because I have kind of limited my availability for now, as I'm kind of readjusting to everything I'm offering on YouTube. So if you want to schedule something with me, I highly recommend that you do that sooner rather than later, and I will actually be increasing my rates shortly as well, so it's a great time to book something now. That is all I have for you, group number 4. I am wishing you a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.